save me a lot of effort later. You could go in later, just put your cardboard, your slate stones on now, and go in between with a brush and get it wet to put dirt in later. But it's a lot messier and it's not nearly as neat. So anyway, here is the slate road with the road sections in. Okay, pretty much ready to go. Might get a little warping. That's why you really want to use a, this is matting board. You'll still get a little warping with this, but you can, once everything's dry, you can go back and, well, when it dries, you can put some heavy weights on top of it. All right, but even, whoops, sorry, even if it does warp a little bit, you can actually hand kind of straighten it and it'll stay, so it's not too bad. Alright, so the next step for this road is to make the embankments. So if you've seen my dirt road tutorial, I'm going to use the same method. I'm going to use caulking on the sides. So let me show you that real quick, and we can actually do that while these are setting. So we can go right on to the next step. Let me just get my materials and I'll be right back, and I'll show you how that works. So 1 second. Okay, so I'm back, ready to caulk. Alright, in other words, make my embankments. So, first thing about your caulking gun is, once you start squirting this stuff, it kind of has a mind of its own. So, have a place to put it down when you're done. But this is really simple. Alright, so basically what you do is you take your road section, okay, and you apply caulking on the side, and basically it looks like just a blob right now. Alright, and then you apply it on the other side, and that ridge that we did where we didn't put tile. Don't worry about being perfect here, it's kind of an imprecise thing, it's a little messy. When we go in and smooth it out, it's going to look good. Okay, so I basically put embankment on both sides. It's got a little warping again, but it's, I promise, in the end, it's a non-issue. Alright, so what you do is, once you put that on, you could use an old butter knife, not one that you want to use again for eating with, or like a popsicle stick, which I'm going to use right now. Alright, and just smooth that down to make your embankment. Alright, so I'm going to make this look like it's not a blob, but it's an earthen mound. And we're going to dirt texture this like we did in between the stones, alright, in the end. But basically, it really doesn't matter if this looks perfect, if it has some weird ridges and stuff, because we are going to texture it and we're going to do static grass when that's all said and done. So at the end of the day, I mean, this can be very imperfect as long as we got kind of a rising kind of mound on the side. So this is pretty fast going here. Alright, so let me do the other side. Don't worry if you go over your stones a little bit, because I think that's a pretty cool look, actually, the idea that some of these slate pieces of stone have been in the road for so long that now like the edge of the road is kind of like enveloping them and going over the edge of them. So again, this does not have to be pretty. We'll dress it up later. Alright, so basically I've got my my earthen ridge on there. This cobblestone road's getting there fast, so hopefully you get an idea of how fast this comes together. You could knock off a whole bunch of these sections, a few curves, a few straight sections in no time. And basically, while this caulking is still wet, and this stuff dries, I think not super fast, but it's not going to hold you up on a day. I mean, in a couple hours or so you can already be applying your dirt texture to it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my little box of aquarium stones, which is always handy, which you've probably seen me use in some of my other videos if you've ever seen any of my other stuff before, and find some stones that I think have some character, and I'm going to plop them right into the caulking, and they will give my road just a little more, I don't know, whatever, realistic effect. Alright, so I'm going to plop those in, kind of push them into the caulking a little bit so it grips them. Alright, and if I can show you on my finished products, you know, what that accomplishes at the end of the day. Alright, is, you know, I've got some stones on the edge of the road just to give a little more character to the mounds on the side. Alright, so this is pretty quickly starting to look like this. Obviously needs some painting up, but you get the idea. So what I do at this stage is, which obviously I'm not going to do on camera, is I'm going to let this dry. But when I put it down, I'm going to put some heavy weights on top of it so it dries flat. A little warp action here, no problem. put some big candles or something on top of it, some weights, and let it dry flat. And then even after that, if it's still warped, you can hand bend it, and it'll be fine. You know, that's what I did with these, and as you can see, they're pretty level now. So let's let that dry. We'll come back, talk about texturing the sides, which is a quick, easy thing, and then we'll be on to painting. All right, so that's basically stage one. So I'll be back as soon as this is dry.